Namaskar. Hello. I see the divine in you, starting to see the divine in me. And I am Prema. And I've been called by some extrasensory experiences to start sharing and to create a channel on these social media revenues or avenues. And I'm not completely sure what I want to say, I have to say, because I don't have a plan. I've been procrastinating on this for the last 2-3 months, and today now finally I was like, you know what, I need to go outside and sit down, and I got to do this. I got to start, because the start to me always feels like it's the most exciting, the most terrifying, and it's the part where life begins to change. And for those of us that have had a difficulty in changing our beliefs, our perceptions, our habits, it's really bloody uncomfortable. And as I've gone and continue to go through this path of self-exploration and coming to some sense of spirituality, whatever that means, I really still don't know. It's very personal to every single person. But as I drop deeper into that space, I feel like I'm hurting my heart every time I don't share it. Every time I receive a little bit of new information, a little bit of wisdom, a bit of joy, a bit of love, by not sharing that with somebody else that may need it, who doesn't even know they need it, I feel like I'm not sharing the reason why I'm here on this planet. And I've always been aware of there's been something special within my heart, at least, and I do believe it's in every single person, every human's heart as well. But our conditionings that we're brought up with from everybody else's perspectives shake that sense of spirit out of us, and then we just become what society wants us to become, and that's okay, because it fully kind of functions. Well, it does, clearly it does, but there's a lot of things that need to change, and really that change only happens in here. And then once this changes in here, well, then the external begins to change with that. It's just the cause of effect, and the effect of cause. So, as I come out of my uncomfortability bubble, you get to know me a little more. So I'm planning on making one video a week for now. Meditation practices have given me a way to see a little bit the future that I wish to create. And it's a future that thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe if not millions of people now are wishing to create too. And have been trying to create it for millennia, actually. But I know that there's people that love me dearly that don't have No, that's not true. That don't have. They have the access to it, but they may not openly go and source the things that I wish to share about how I've overcome the trials and tribulations, my discomforts, my diseases, and coming into my own self-realization. And like I said a few seconds ago, that I always believed or I always understood something deep within myself. But now it's coming back to that and getting rid of all of the stuff that doesn't serve me or us. And it's the most delicious feeling in the world to go from being hyper vigilant, from feculation, from when the two cells joined. My mother smoked during the whole of her pregnancy, and of course now we understand that that causes very detrimental effects on bodies and whatnot. And she's the most loving woman, but of course that wasn't a good thing to do. And now knowing my father, he's a very loving man too, and he's highly strung. and he's got softer in old age, but his body now bears the score of all of that stress. And so I think my environment from tiny cell till I think my mid-20s, even into my mid-30s maybe, were hypervigilance. And I didn't realize that until I started to practice certain aspects of life through this beautiful science of yoga. And as I'm coming out of this hypervigilance, it feels really uncomfortable and really beautiful at the same time. And my body wants to stick to what it knows. It wants to stick to what it knows, or what it's always known, because that was its comfort. But that's absurd and it's insane. But if we don't know that there's another way and how to get there, it's just horrendous. I wanted to quit out a lot of times, to the point where I was like, you know what, wife, something crazy is going on and I want to quit this shit and I'm done. But I know it's just a thought, and I know it's not really how I feel. So I worked through it, and it brings me to now to be able to sit here and say this. I had a lot of anxiety, actually, of my preceptions, my misconceptions, my sense of my worth, my ability to be able to create, to speak a truth, to be able to be honestly in the world as a person. And before making this video, and now it's going to be videos because now it's started, so beware. And obviously as it goes on, it's going to change a lot. Things will change, but I don't feel nervous at all right now around my ability to be me. I've just gone through a little process with my wife of expanding the heart a little bit more, and it's been deeply uncomfortable. It's been deeply expansive. It's been the most beautifully horrendous thing to experience, witness, hold space for. But I believe that we'll both come out of it exceptionally strong, and with the capacity to share our love very freely in the ways that we both wish to express that. But time, obviously, it's time, and everything takes time. So now sitting here, I felt like I needed to just start at the beginning, somewhat, just so that we can have a relationship, because I can't be there physically with someone, but that's where I really love, that's where I really jive, that's where I really feel the most alive, is when I'm there in a studio setting, or a one-to-one, or just hanging out in a retreat setting where we can really talk honestly about how we feel, because we don't talk honestly about how we feel. And if you sit for a second, how do you feel right now? Maybe just close your eyes. Just take a really soft inhale through your nose. How does your body feel in this moment, in your living room, in your bed, Maybe you're sitting on the toilet. Maybe you're in your car. Maybe you're walking down the street. Maybe you're in your office. Maybe you're making love. Get off your bloody phone. So many things. But how does your body feel? Is it in comfort or is it in discomfort? Can you feel where that is in the body? So open your eyes and it's a beautiful process. We have to go in, we have to see, we have to witness, we have to experience, and we have to liberate. Everything is energy. I'm not going to give some deep, meaningful speech about energy and the chi and the prana of life and everything that we experience, but I've been experiencing this energetic body at a pretty deep level these days. And at the beginning it terrified me quite a lot to actually become aware that I have a body, and then all of a sudden, oh fuck, my body doesn't feel well. Which actually most of that was self-created. And that self-creation created me to have a dis-ease in my body, which has lasted the best part of 10 years since I've been doing these practices. So it's taken me 10 years to be able to come and say, you know what, now it's time for me to share this stuff. Because I feel like I'm worth it. You're worth it. We're all worth it. Everybody's worth it. Whether there's discomfort in that or not, or ease or not, we're all worth it. We are of the same value. So just to share a little bit, there's no standing. So a friend of ours passed away these 10 years ago, and it became my trigger into me uncovering and unlocking my fear of death. My fear of, actually, as it turns out, living because of that fear of death. And for 6 months I didn't sleep. I hardly ate. I lost tons of weight. I'm pretty slender, as you can see, but I'm finally putting on weight through exercise. And not sleeping for 6 months really did something quite wild to my body. It turned on my already extra sensory overloaded with alcohol, bad food, and all the other stuff of not sleeping when you have a newborn baby. And it exponentially exploded it out into the universe, and I became very sick. And then it took me so many years to understand what was going on. I went to hospitals, I took all sorts of studies, I did brain scans, CT scans, I did heart scans, I did every kind of scan I could do because I wanted to know what was going on inside my body. And every time I got a result, I was perfectly healthy. And it was mad, like absolutely mad to hear a doctor say that. Until I stumbled across a book. It's called Yoga and Relaxation. And it's written by a guy called Tony Crisp. He wrote it in 1970, and it became like my little yoga Bible. And it changed my life reading that book. At the beginning, I didn't understand bloody anything it was saying about this, and this is this, and we are that, and everything is, and we are being, and all of these little terms. I mean, there was a sense of me that got it, but I didn't experience the truth of it. And inside the book, there's a section of a ton of asanas, or stretches, or postures. And within that, there was an explanation about what each one was doing, where it was guiding the blood flow in the body, and how it would help us. And as it turned out, how it was going to help me. So I just sat down and started practicing. Because I had no other option in that moment. And I didn't talk to my wife about what was going on. I didn't know how to share. I still didn't sit within my honesty. I didn't really sit with anything, actually. I was just sitting in fear completely. And as time went on, at the beginning, it was so uncomfortable just sitting up, let alone stretching. And as I continued along this path, after 3 months, I started to notice that whenever I stretched my body in a certain way or moved my body in a certain way, there was an emotion connected to a different part of my body. Now the thought might be different with each time I was stretching my body, but it was always the same underlying emotion, whether it was fear or anything fear-based, the same. Anger, frustration, rage, all of those wonderful goodnesses. And a lot of sexual tension, but from a fear place. And I thought that was really curious to start to become aware of these things, of this thing, of this stuff. It's like, it's kind of strange. And around that time, after around the 6th month mark of practicing every day, I started to begin to meditate by sitting up. I think I was already meditating within my stretching, because I was just trying to follow my breath and the guidance of this guy from this book. And then everything changed, and I started to feel more comfortable. But then as I started to feel more comfortable, I actually started to become extremely uncomfortable in my body. And that's where shit got really strange and weird, and has been on a constant expansion of beauty, love, grace, terribleness, awesomeness, love in every sense of the word, gratitude, letting go, and cleaning out the body. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easeful because of my resistance to the process. I have a beautiful friend, and she uses the phrase, hold the vision and trust the process. Now I understand that. I didn't understand it for many years. Okay, my vision is health. My vision is being in love with life. My vision is being connected to everything. To be coming back to my source, my soul, my spirit, whatever that is. I didn't know how to trust the process because I just assumed it would be comfortable. And it wasn't. So now I have to laugh because now it's starting to feel comfortable. So anybody that sees this, is watching this, continue to follow this. Or follow anybody else that's sharing this stuff. I'm going to follow it too, because I need to. But I have to share it now, because it's the only way that we can grow and expand. We can find our spiritual practice within anything. I mean, it could be just walking your dogs. It could be walking in nature. It could be swimming in the ocean. It could be listening to Pearl Jam. It could be making love. It could be singing. It could be anything. There's so many, throwing stones. I just saw a pile of stones behind me. It could be anything. But we do need to travel in to witness and experience. So I'm going to share the way that I've done it, I did it, and continue to do it. I will share in some of these videos at times asanas, the postures. We'll do some sequences and some stretches. We'll do some little breathing techniques. We'll do some meditation, guided meditations. And then we're just going to talk about life and love and what it is to love. And right now, I've just fallen in love again, which I didn't expect to happen. And it's shaken every cell of my being. There's always going to be a distraction in life, whether it's a helicopter or a plane. But can we sit with those distractions? And right now, the distraction that I have the most is that as my heart opens, it becomes freer. And it feels so beautiful. So, this is enough for now, because it's a lot. But I wish you all love. And in the next video, we'll talk about ahimsa, non-violence, and what that means to us. At least what it means to me now, and the crazy shit that's going on in the world. I like to swear every now and then, so it might not fall in line with some of your practices, but it just comes out very naturally. I grew up around a bunch of sailors. My mother, I think, was a sailor in her last life, and my father was definitely a barbarian sailor beast. And it's just in there, and I don't feel bad for it. I don't hold shame for it. It's just, it is what it is. but I still feel I need to apologize, right? So it's crazy.
Where does this stuff come from?
So much love. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening. Get off the toilet. Go and be with your kids. And namaskar. And we love Prema.